What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the one pool Maraudon strategy. I've been getting a lot of requests for this video, so I'm really excited to get this out there for you guys and show you guys what I have learned and the tips and tricks that I use. So I got to give a shout out to V the Victim for his original video on the Mara one pool strategy that came out a couple weeks ago. Thank you, man, for putting that out, and it really helped me figure out how to do the run, and then also kind of give me some ideas about ways that I might be able to improve it for my own style personally. So that's what I'm going to be bringing you guys today. We're going to start off looking at the one requirement for the entire dungeon, and then some other optional things that could definitely help for your runs. Then we're going to be jumping into the run itself, showing you guys what kind of experience I get. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to include another video on when it doesn't go perfectly cleanly. Now, obviously it looks real clean when you're doing a clean run and teaching a tutorial and everything, but it doesn't always go that way. And so I wanted to make sure that I included some additional steps and precautions that you guys can know about and take when maybe a run really gets messed up, so that you aren't freaking out in that situation, trying to figure out what to do, and we have a great strategy to handle that. This video, however, is going to be very, very long, and so what I want to do is I want to include that as a separate video. That way you guys don't have to, fast forward to like 30 minutes into this video just to be able to see that. So I'm going to add this link up above now, and if you guys want to see that scuff run afterwards, I'm also going to have it in the description below. Go ahead and check that out so you guys can see a special trick to be able to handle when a mob runs forward way far in front of you when you're not expecting it, or just an overall situation, kind of like how to reset the fight so you can make sure you get that kill. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Okay, so there's only one actual requirement in order to do these Mara runs, and that is the Scepter of Celebras. So this is an item that allows you to make a portal to port inside a Maraudon and save you at least 5 minutes a run if you're going to do it without it. So I 100% recommend getting this scepter before doing the clears. Now, how do you get this scepter? So this mob right here, Kavindra, gives you a quest. Now, obviously, I've already done the quest, so I can't get the quest, but she'll give you a quest to go into the instance, kill 2 bosses, and then from there, talk to another guy in the instance, listen to him do a ritual, and you have your scepter. It's not hard at all. Really quick to do, but it's going to save you a ton of time, and I highly, highly recommend it. Pretty much require it to get started with these runs. Okay, so now we have the scepter. As you can see here, we are ready to go. We're at the portal entrance. All you have to do at this point is just click on the scepter, and then you can click on this portal. Now this is going to port you to what's called Inner Maraudon, which, if you guys remember it from Classic, is the bottom of the waterfall. And it's going to port you right to this entrance. From here, you can just go right along this right path, and you are right at the starting zone. Now, let's talk about some of the other optional things that I've learned over time that really, really help with these clears. Number 1, nature resistance. Basically what happens is that you're getting all of your mana back, and I'll explain this more in the video. You're getting all your mana back from these little imp-like creatures that are casting nature spells at you. You have to survive through them with Ice Barrier, and when they break Ice Barrier, they're just going to be chunking down your blizzards, and it's not going to be effective. So the first benefit of nature resistance is that you're living longer, because Ice Barrier is lasting longer from the nature spells. But the second big benefit is that you are resisting more spells. So because of the talent tree of getting back mana every single time we resist a spell, you're getting a lot of mana back the entire time. So highly recommend getting nature resistance. How can you get nature resistance? 2 quick and easy ways right off the auction house. First, get a ring of nature resistance. I only one that has 14 nature resistance. It does enough for me, but I recommend getting a 20 nature resistance ring if you can, maybe even 2. You have 2 slots. Why not? And then the second thing is the glowing brightwood staff. This costs about 100 gold typically on servers. It obviously varies, but what this gives you is a ton of intellect. It's probably the number 1 AoE farm staff that we can get. And it also has 15 nature resistance, which really comes in handy for these clears. All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is going to be major healing potions. End of the day, guys, is that you are pulling 100 plus mobs at once. There's going to be a little bit of server lag. You're going to get hit, or maybe you run into a tree or something. I don't know. Somehow, you're probably going to get hit, and you're probably going to take some damage. I do very frequently. So it's really, really handy to have major healing potions. They can crit heal for like 2,600 health and get you right back up to full, ready to go, so you're not risking death, because the run back is horrible for Maraudon, so you do not want to die. But as long as you're not dying, you're getting a ton of experience. So I highly recommend major healing potions. They're very cheap, something like 50 to 60 silver per, 100% worth it. Number 3, heavy rune cloth bandages. Reason being, you're going to have 2 periods of downtime pretty much throughout the run. And what you can do is you can rune cloth bandage up. So rune cloth bandages are obviously going to be a bit cheaper than the major healing potions, but pretty much do the same amount of healing, if not more. So by having rune cloth bandages, you can really make sure that you're keeping yourself up as you go throughout the run. All right, let's move on to number 4. This is optional completely. All these are optional, but iron grenades, obviously, you might not be an engineer. I personally like to use them just because I am, but you do not need them. What they allow you to do, though, is they allow you just to place the iron grenade right behind you, slow down the mobs that are coming towards you, so that you can get that little bit of breather room that you might need when you have 120 mobs chasing you. And then last is going to be major mana potion. Now, I personally don't use this pretty much ever. That's why I don't have any stocked right now, because I want to make sure that I have the major healing potion, and as long as you have enough resist, you're going to be getting a ton of mana back from the mobs. But if for whatever reason you don't have resist and you find yourself running low on mana, just pick up some major mana potions. And I guess one other thing just to keep in stock, which wouldn't be a bad idea, would be limited invulnerability potions. Just on the off chance that something really goes horrible, you have to block. You can cancel aura block and immediately pop a limited invulnerability potion, which is going to allow you to then get back to safety because the majority of the mobs are going to be melee. So that's about all the requirements or optional things that you can use. Let's jump into the video and show you guys how to do this exact pool that I do. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'm on my rogue. He can see that he has 53% of a level so far. He's level 45, so we're going to see how much experience we get. You start off with the first pool with a rank 1 Frostbolt, run over to the right, and then you use your wand to pull these 2 groups. Now, the idea here is that you want to keep all these guys kind of close to each other. You don't want to get them too far away from each other, but you also don't want them right on your tail. So you need to be going up this ramp as quickly as possible, aggroing all them. My favorite strategy is to do exactly this. Nova that last group. That way, when you blink, you have a good amount of distance to get up here. You're going to wand this group to the left if your wand is faster than your rank 1 Frostbolt, or you're going to rank 1 Frostbolt if you're faster than your wand. Basically, the quickest thing you can do is aggro that left group. Turn to the right, fire blast that group, counterspell the group in the corner like we just did, and then blink to safety. Now what's happening is all of these mobs are converging on you and trying to catch up to you. What's really nice, though, is that you can do jump cone of colds to keep them scattered. And if they get too close, don't worry about it. It takes a little bit of practice. Just use a Frost Nova and it's okay. Now I like to blink, and I like to keep about, if you can imagine, like 15 to 20 yards of separation between the mobs, but I don't want to be too far ahead of them, as I said before. What I also like to do is not cast anything if I can. So here you're just going to see me running around the pillar, not worrying about trying to slow them at all or anything like that, because we want to be regenning as much mana as we can as we go, because we still have a lot of more mobs to get before we start getting back some mana. So what I've personally found works really well here is to either Nova these mobs right here, Nova that front group, or if you're far ahead, just start blizzarding, kind of like I'm doing with these back mobs. What that does is it lets the very back borers get closer, that way they're more stacked. Now as you go into the water, they're going to freeze right there on that ledge, right back there, until you get pretty much to the middle of that platform to the left where that boss is. So you blink to the other side of the platform, and you have now a ton of room for those mobs and can just worry about picking up the next mobs. Now real quickly, guys, you're going to see a couple of these sisters walking around. They have ranged attacks. If you pull them, you're in trouble. That's these mobs right over here. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to shoot you with their bow for I think it's like 400 damage a shot. It's insane. But once you get up to these next cavern lurkers, you're going to rank 1 Frostbolt the first one, and then you're going to pull that second group either with an Arcane Explosion or a Cone of Cold. Now you're going to counterspell the last one, and now you have all those mobs. You can allow the mobs to kind of chain pool themselves, but I just like to grab them anyways because it's safer to do so, and I never really need to worry about it. You're going to come up this ramp, rank 1, jump quick, Fire Blast, just to pull that mob, rank 1 Arcane Explosion, and then blink through that group right there. The reason you want to blink through them is they're going to automatically pool, but it allows you to get that extra distance. Now with this room, we want to get as many mobs as possible. So we're going to Arcane Explosion the first 2 packs right there, and they're typically close enough where you can grab both at the same time. Then you want to use something to be able to grab that far group and closer mobs. Now occasionally the mobs are going to be scattered a little bit, and so just use whatever you need to. You have plenty of time to be able to pick up all those mobs and still blink back towards the middle path to make sure that you're out to safety. Now, what I like to do here, this is really big, is I like to blink as soon as possible over to this corner and then wand this mob to the right to make sure that we pick up this extra group on the right, and then Arcane Explosion and jump off. And at this point, guys, we have 94% health, 12% mana. So we're looking pretty clean. We don't need to worry about health so far, but the mana we probably need to get back, right? You can get it back from just resists, but it's not gonna go very well considering we still have a lot of mobs to get. So what I like to do here is jump off, stay close to the wall that we just jumped from, and immediately evocate. What this allows us to do is allows the mobs not to get too far away where they don't start evading, because if you get too far from the mobs, they're actually just going to reset. But at the same time, you can get back some mana. So now we're up to 74%. Here's how I pull every single mob in the instance. I frostbolt that mob to the left, and what that allows me to do is pick up the other mobs individually, and I'll show you guys the other strategies to pick up them. So we're going to come around to this right side to this little hallway right here, and I'm going to frostbolt two groups and counterspell the other just so we can be in and out of this room as quickly as humanly possible. Now this is always rank 1 frostbolt, remember that. You're going to come out here and you're going to Arcane Explosion. At this point, because you aggro that extra deep root guy, all these mobs are starting to come. And so what you need to do is you make sure that you get by this quickly. So I like to aggro that last mob. You have all of these mobs converging on you. You blink, and then you Nova this last group there. It's really important to save your Nova for that last group before you jump off, or else they're going to be too far ahead of the rest of the groups where they'll be not going to be getting slowed by your blizzard. And so if they get too far ahead, then they're going to be doing damage to you earlier than you want, and it's just going to cause a lot of problems. So make sure you save Frost Nova for that last group on the platform here that we just jumped from. Now this spot is really important, guys. This is your first kind of convergence spot where all these mobs are going to have to walk over this little ledge right here. I think it's a tree root. But basically, you'll see them go up in the air, kind of like this, and then come down. And that little bit of delay allows you to get all of them in your blizzard and make sure it hits all of them. So you want a blizzard right on top of this tree root. And as you'll see, they all just start getting stuck. And it allows you just to have one blizzard that hits every single mob. It's great. So make sure that you take advantage of that tree root. From there, you're going to come around the corner here. You're going to blink at some point, but you want to only blink once. Reason you want to only blink once is that you're going to need to save it so that you can blink over the platform and not aggro extra mobs. I'll show you that in a second. So you blink once, then you run back here. I like to rebuff, make sure that I have full ice barrier and mana shield before I start doing the pool. And here's where you blink, guys. Now, reason being, this platform, I'm going to go back just ever so slightly. This platform right here, these mobs, when they're under you, can actually hit you from up above. It's a weird leeway kind of bug. Don't mess with it. If you're ever standing on top of here and the mobs are under here, you're dead. They're just going to obliterate you. You have 120 mobs that are about to basically look up and uppercut you from below. So save your blink for here. You're going to blink right across the path, and then you're going to rank 1 blizzard that group to the right, and then rank 1 blizzard the rest of these mobs. Sometimes this mob's going to pull when you blink. If it does, just do just what I did there. Just sidestep a little bit to the right, do a rank 1 Frost Nova, and just keep them slowed. Now we're going to Cone of Cold. We're going to aggro this group. Preferably, we would have Frost Nova for that group. So if you can have Frost Nova that group just so they're not too far ahead. Keep on running. Rank 1 Fire Blast that mob to the right to make sure that you grab those extra corruptors. And then you're at this point. Now this point, guys, is where we're going to kind of slow them all down so that they're not getting too close to us, but they can also start to clump up. From here on out, the entire point of the instance is to grab those last couple straggler mobs that you weren't able to get before, but also make one tight cohesive group. Because if you have one tight cohesive group, it's going to make the end of the instance much, much easier. All right, so we're going to blink. We're going to jump off. After we AoE them down, we're going to blink, and we're going to start running down this left hallway. Now, this is where we just came from after we were blizzarding on this little ledge over there. You're going to rank 1 Frostbolt that far stomper. You're going to Arcane Explosion those two in the middle, and then you're going to counterspell the other far one, turn around immediately, blink, and Frost Nova that group right there. Now, this is going to allow all the groups to be slowed. I missed my Cone of Cold here because I'm bad, but typically you try to get rank 1 Cone of Cold on that stomper, but it's okay if 1 or 2, maybe even like 3 mobs are hitting you. The idea here is that you want to rank 1 Blizzard the rest of the group that's coming towards you. Reason being, you want them to start to coalesce together, right? So what I like to do is, I'm going to go back just a little bit. Here, we can see that some of these mobs over here are getting slowed, which is allowing for the rest of the group to catch up. I like to wait until they get close to me, maybe even hitting me, which is fine. Rank 1, Fire Blast that group to the right, and blink. Those shadow mobs are either going to be picked up or you can Arcane Explosion them. If I have Counterspell here, I Counterspell that right group. If not, you just wand them. It's okay if you wand that group to the right. You'll have plenty of time. Here, guys, this is a perfect example of where an Iron Grenade could become useful. I still have plenty of room where I'm not worried because I know that my blink only has 1 second left. So I'm going to be able to blink really soon. But here you could Iron Grenade right there, and then you could have as much room pretty much as a blink. So Iron Grenades are really helpful, but you don't need them. I choose to blink. I get a good bit of distance from my mobs, and then I'm able to keep on going around the bend. Sometimes there's going to be 2 mobs up here to the left where we're looking right now on this little ledge here that didn't aggro. Just Frost Nova them if you need to. That will allow them enough time to get going, but still be with the group. So you're going to jump off this ledge. You're going to be going trying to get here to the spot as quickly as humanly possible because you have all the mobs coming down the ledge. But you want to get to the spot right here, somewhere in this general vicinity. And what you want to do is you want to Blizzard right on the corner of this platform or at the front of the group. Reason being, they're going to come down this ledge and take a hard right, which basically means that since you're casting a circle and they're doing a little like right angle into that circle, they're going to have more time in the Blizzard and you're going to get more mobs. So you want to try to make sure that you're getting them at the kind of corner of that ledge. You're going to counterspell this group right here, which allows you to pick up this mob. And then one thing that allows you to get even more mobs here is you jump Frost Nova that mob in the corner, so we make sure that we get that Tangler as well. You're going to immediately Blizzard on that corner and let the mobs coalesce. You Cone of Cold rank 1, Arcane Explosion, and now you have all these mobs. Now all you have to do is get these last mobs right here. You can see that I used an Iron Grenade there just to keep them off of me. Get these last mobs, blink, and now there's literally only one mob that we haven't pulled, which is right there to the right. The rest of these mobs are pulled. Now right here, guys, is an important part of the run. What you can do is you can work on getting your health back up, and you can work on getting your mana shield. Couple things though, if you have a corruption on you, let it fall off first. There's no sense in using a bandage when it's going to get interrupted within a maximum of 3 seconds by corruption. 2, you want to make sure that you reapply your ice barrier so that when the mobs are coming down the stairwell, which you'll see in a second, you can resist the spells and you can get off your Blizzard. And 3, you can now use your magic armor or mage armor to be able to get high resistances. Now this is going to allow you to have a lot more resistance. You're resisting a lot more nature spells, and it's going to make it a lot easier. You're not going to get meleeed anymore, so that's why we want to put it on now. So you come up to this ledge right here. I bandage, and I get pretty much all the way back to full. It's so nice, guys. Okay, so now they're coming down this ledge. Don't worry about the little imps in the front. They're going to stop to cast on you, so it doesn't matter if you slow them. There they go. They stop to cast right there. But that first melee mob that gets down there, you want to make sure that he is hit by Blizzard because you need them to start clumping together. Now look how tight all these mobs are getting. They're getting into one solid cohesive group. If one gets ahead, kind of like that Cavern Lurker, just Nova it. Because at the end of the day, the mobs in the back are still Blizzard, and so they're still slowed, and he'll catch up. He's a fast mob. So if they get too close, just Nova. Now you can do a jump Cone of Cold here just to slow that front mob. It even helps even there. One thing you don't want to do, though, is that little white patch. You don't want to be too far ahead of your mobs at that point because they could reset. So I like to wait to blink until I'm at that white patch, and then I can blink forward. So now the same exact thing as the first time, guys. We're going to cast rank 1 Arcane Explosion right on the middle of that little tree root. And that's going to allow them all to slow together. Now, because they're so clumped, they can all still be hit within one Blizzard. Once you get this down, guys, that is a huge, huge help when it comes to this final part, because you're not going to be worrying about mobs skipping through your Blizzard and just running up to come kill you because they're scattered all over the place. They're going to be coalesced tight together, and it's going to allow for a really, really clean kill. So you come right back up this ramp. Again, you want to save your blink so you can blink to the other side. If the mobs are too close, they're going to be able to hit you from above and uppercut you and kill you. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. Now, I want to take a quick check at where I put this placement. So what you want to do is, what the mobs do is they kind of do this like straight line and then come back pattern. So they'll run up, and you'll be able to see in a second. They run up and then they come back. So you want to make sure that you kind of get the circle right at the bottom here, but I would be ever so slightly off the steps. And what that's going to allow you to do is you're going to be able to hit the mobs a little bit earlier, but then you're going to make sure that there's no kind of weird bug, and you're going to be able to get them along their entire pattern back and forth. At this point, we're using max rank Blizzard because we're about to get all of our mana back if we're missing mana, and because it's time to kill the mobs. So they're going to come up. As soon as they get in that path, we're going to start blizzarding. You're going to see these mobs go up and go back. So see, they all kind of like turn around and go back. As soon as that blizzard dies, you want to place the next blizzard right where, kind of like use that front mob, whichever is the front mob, as the middle of the blizzard. That way he still has plenty of time to run through the blizzard, so you know that you're slowing him, while all the other mobs are also going to be in the blizzard. So you'll see here, I'm going to let this one boar come through just because it's not going to do any damage to me, and I'm not really worried about it. But now we're going to be able to AoE down all these mobs. They're so tightly clumped together that it's really safe. Now I want to talk about a couple things right here. So one quick thing that I want to show you guys is that these sprites, right? When you're standing off the ledge here, blizzarding the first 2 times, they're going to be hitting you from down on the bottom. And they're going to be taking down your shield slowly. They're level 43, 44. They're going to do damage to you. Like, they're not too far off from you. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to time the right amount of blizzards to where you get out of their range and make them move. What I like to do is I like to do 2 blizzards. So here's the second blizzard, and what I'll do is I will just strafe over to the left, and now you'll see that they can't hit me anymore. So their only option is to run up this path, and they go and join the rest of the mobs up here in the middle, and now they'll start casting on me when they're in the middle. This allows me to get 1 more blizzard off while I still have my ice barrier, and right at the end of that ice barrier, right at the end of that blizzard, the ice barrier falls off, and so then I'm able to reposition onto this tree post and able to go right back to blizzarding. Now the beautiful thing in here is that all the mobs are right in the middle that are giving me mana. So they're giving me mana right up until they die, but now I have so much mana that all these mobs are pretty much dead already. Look at this. Like, I am about to kill the last mobs, and I am at 100% mana. It helped also that I had 2 little sprites down here casting on me, but I just finished the instance with 100% health and 85% mana. So just go over that one more time, guys. You start off with blizzarding right on the corner. Then you shift the blizzard to move up a little bit. After your second blizzard, you're going to run to the left, place the blizzard so you're out of range of the sprites, and you're going to cast blizzards until they get close to you, which is typically 2 to 3 more blizzards depending on pathing. Sometimes the mob gets forward, gets too far ahead of the other mobs, but typically 2 to 3 blizzards. Here we have 2. My ice barrier is going to fall off. I'm immediately going to jump on this little tree post here, which causes all the mobs to run back here. Important though, they can hit you from the bottom. So if they get down to the bottom, they can hit you. So you want to make sure that you're not letting them get too far down here, else they'll start hitting you. Blizzard, and then you can just jump back and forth. Another cool thing is that in the middle, you'll kind of see them strafing back and forth. There's some kind of weird pathing that happens in the middle where they literally just run back and forth right in the middle area. So that also allows them to stay in that area for a lot longer, and you're able to get a lot more damage. So guys, this is as clean as it gets pretty much for this kill. It took 10 minutes and 32 seconds to run through the entire instance. I said smooth as butter. It takes 10 minutes and 32 seconds to run through the instance, and it probably takes you about 4 minutes to loot and then run back to the start. So it's about 14 to 15 minutes per kill with looting. And from all this, your other tunes are getting a ton of experience, and you're getting a good amount of gold. I've already had, I think, 3 epics drop, a lot of blues, and I make a good amount of gold. It's about 65 gold an hour if you're soloing it. So by yourself, it's probably about 13 gold an hour. If you want to take all the greens from the group, you're probably making like 25 to 30 gold an hour while helping your friends get around 100,000 XP per hour. All right, so let's take a look at that rogue XP. Okay guys, so I quickly have my rogue here. He is 72% of the way into the level. Started off at 53, now we're 72. 19% of a level just in this one run alone, and he's level 45. When you're in your upper 30s, lower 40s, around that range, you could get up to 25% of a level a run non-rested. If you're rested, we're talking upwards of 50% a run. This is insane XP, guys. You're going to be leveling at about 1 hour level all the way up to level 50 maybe a little bit higher, or maybe a little bit more than 1 hour, but it is insane. And you can even do this up to level 52 if you really wanted to. The experience just won't be as good. So guys, this is by far the fastest way to help out your alts level, to power level your friends, and honestly, it's really good gold too. If you want to go solo this, it's about 65 gold an hour. I've also seen people selling runs for this for 10 to 12 gold a run, so they're talking 200 gold per hour if they're selling runs. This is an insane way to get experience and to make gold. Alright everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.